Let's talk about dust. What is it? What can we do about it? And why it matters. Dust is everywhere. If you're watching from your computer, you can probably see a layer of dust on the monitor or keyboard if it's been a while since you've dusted. Because that's the thing. Even though you clean, dust always comes back. What is dust exactly? Let's take a look at all of the things that can make up dust. Some of these may be a surprise, but are actually fairly typical to find in dust. Dust particles can be from 0.1 to 10 microns in size, and while 10 is breathable, they are all still very small. Although uncommon, the list of things that can make up dust is still pretty gross. It's important to know that dust can become embedded in cracks, fibers, and crevices. When dust is agitated, like with a feather duster or a broom, it goes back into the air, amassing other particulates and pollutants before it settles again. The fact that dust can hide in cracks and move around when disturbed means that dust can contain some nasty substances, even from old, banned paint or lawn care chemicals. Dust is also hygroscopic, meaning it attracts and absorbs moisture from the air, and local humidity, when dust has settled, can be higher on that object or surface than it is in the room. Cementation can occur when these items leach calcium from dust, which then crystallizes, making it even more difficult to remove. Dust can have an effect on objects and archival materials. It can accelerate the chemical deterioration. Nothing is permanent. Everything degrades and breaks down naturally, but dust can actually accelerate this chemical process, since dust can be alkaline or acidic, and either of those can be harmful if they're at the extreme. Concrete dust is very alkaline, for example, and can encourage reactions and damage alkaline-sensitive materials like some inks, silk, cyanotypes, and photographs. Dust can also damage and discolor these materials. Since dust draws in moisture, it can encourage mold growth in the right conditions and cause staining. Dust is also abrasive and can cause mechanical or physical wear. Since dust contains skin, hair, and plant matter, it can also attract pests. When you think about it, dust is made of microscopic particles with uneven edges, and they come into contact with exposed surface areas of items. An unfortunate truth is that once dust becomes ingrained in paper, it cannot be fully removed. This is why preventive measures and understanding the risks are so important. So how can we reduce dust accumulation? Housing is huge. Placing items in archival boxes, enclosed shelving, or even wrapping them in Tyvek or archival paper, or putting them in archival folders or polyester sleeves can dramatically reduce the amount of dust they will be exposed to. Regularly changing HVAC or AC filters and not letting dirty filters sit in the system, limiting direct airflow, placing more susceptible items in an area with less foot traffic since people bring in dust, and making sure items aren't kept near registers or vents, and vacuuming those vents regularly are also good housekeeping guidelines. Items should be dusted regularly, but not daily or even monthly. If the item needs dusting more frequently, it should be encased or housed, ideally. Because while dust is harmful, Cleaning is also abrasive, so excessive cleaning can be equally harmful. Do feel free to dust shelving and storage as needed. In order to determine the most appropriate cleaning intervals, it is best to monitor accumulation throughout the area. It could be that dusting every 2 years strikes the best balance. When it's time to dust, not all tools were created equally. Shelving and storage boxes can be dusted with a clean microfiber cloth or a HEPA vacuum. HEPA vacuums can trap very small particles and will keep that dust from recirculating. Exteriors of bound materials in good condition can be dusted with a clean dust cloth. A microfiber should not be used, since its rough surface, while being good at collecting dust, could cause damage to the surface of the volume. Papers and photographs in good condition and bound materials in poor condition can be dusted carefully with a soft brush. If the paper or photograph is in poor condition, it gets riskier, and dusting might inflict more damage if done by a non-conservator. A HEPA vacuum with a cheesecloth or mesh screen over the hose nozzle can be used together with the brush to collect dust. Cloths should be thrown out or laundered when dirty, and brushes should be washed with soap and air-dried regularly to ensure dust isn't being transferred. How can we monitor dust accumulation? It is possible without wearing a white glove and wiping the surface with your finger. Glass microscope slides can be placed and left for a few months. These slides can be read with a gloss meter, a small handheld tool which determines accumulation by calculating the amount of gloss that the glass has lost. In the bottom right corner, we can see dust accumulation on a protected glass slide at the National Archives. This method lets us see how dust gathers in a room or how accumulation might differ at various heights or locations within a room, a building, or buildings. Other options for monitoring dust are dust and particulate sensors. These sensors are placed in the desired location and use laser scattering to determine the amount of dust and which particulate size is present in the air. Data from these sensors can be downloaded and uploaded to software. These sensors are fairly affordable and start from $16, although some cost more with added options of connecting straight to a computer or having a USB port. Indoor air quality monitors could be another option with the added benefit of reading any vapors or VOCs present in the air. These can cost $60 and up for a unit. Please remember that prevention is the best form of care. For documents or photographs that were not housed and might have dust, dusting them prior to sleeving them or placing them in folders will keep them from being trapped in an environment with dust all over them. If there is ever any doubt as to the frequency, the materials, or the safety of dusting, reach out to a conservator or a trained professional. Thank you for watching, and please feel free to contact us with any questions that you might have.